In this next video, I want to talk to you about analytics. Analytics is something that has grown up in the recent past because of all of the data that we've now got available and our ability now to be able to analyze that data in real time and turn it into real information. So what is analytics all about? It's the power of data and recognizing that it's not just how we use the data, it's also recognizing we can compete with data, that we can actually innovate with data. Data can help us to do so much more in terms of what we do with our business today. Analytics has been on a journey. We basically started off with a little bit of information as we got to know things like the smartphones came out. We were able to start getting some better information about what was actually going on out there. Social media then came along. That obviously gave us a wealth of data, a wealth of information as well that was out there. Then cloud came along, and then this thing called big data. And again, recognizing that more and more information was basically coming at us as all of this was happening. And then we've got the Internet of Things that's occurring. So basically our ability now to connect all sorts of different instruments and technologies so that they can start talking to each other. And ultimately we have the digital enterprise, where basically the whole enterprise is operating on these digital platforms that allows us to connect in so many ways that we never thought was possible previously. So analytics starts with big data. Recognizing the 3 V's, the volume of data, that we've got a huge amount of data that is coming our way, the velocity of data, the speed with which data can now be collected, and the variety of data, our ability now to connect all sorts of different data sources to really be able to understand what's going on. But recognizing with all of this data, it delivers huge complexity to an organization because there is so much data, it is coming at us with such speed, and there are so many different ways that we might be able to connect it. But it also provides a huge opportunity in an organization. Critical in analytics is mindset and culture. Understanding that for any organization today, data is a core asset. It's how we use that data that is important. And it's about collaboration. Data is useless stuck in one department. Data, when it is shared across organizations, can be very, very powerful indeed. The more that things like sales data, just as a classic example here, can be shared across an organization, we know what's happening with sales, helps us to then identify what we need to do with production, helps us then identify when do we need to be building new factories, building new machines, helps us understand the financials of business. Collaboration, very important indeed. And this then really does encourage us in terms of new ways of working, encourage us in terms of making data-driven decisions. So no longer do we need to turn around and say, we think it's going to do this. We can actually turn around and say, we know that it's going to do this. And what it also allows us to do is experiment, so that we can actually start trying different things using data. Data drives insight and ultimately drives knowledge. That's what we're trying to get, is knowledge about what's happening in our business from all of this data that we've been able to accumulate. Sources of data, variety of different sources out there. Lots of personal data, basically the classic demographics, behavior, psychographic, all that sort of information. Business data, again, pretty straightforward. But if we can start now plugging in also all that social data that's out there, the social network data, what are people talking about right now? I've just launched a new product. People are talking about it right now. Let me plug into that to help me understand what else I need to be changing in terms of that particular product or service or whatever it is that I'm offering. And then web behavior data, people jumping onto your website. Are they staying on the website looking at other things, or are they just jumping off? So again, lots of different sources of data there. And then ultimately the power of analytics is being able to predict what's going to happen in the future. Very important when we're talking about marketing and risk management and operations. Marketing, what does this actually mean in terms of customers, loyalty, retention, churn of our customers? What can we be predicting in terms of how sticky customers are? Risk management, where is the next fraud going to come from? Obviously, banks absolutely focused in this particular space. And then operations as well, understanding what it means from our employees. What does this now mean in terms of things like employee turnover, how we manage assets moving forward, how we actually do our maintenance moving forward. So very powerful to be able to start predicting what's going to happen as a result of actions that we do. So my challenge to you now is just thinking about, from your point of view, and indeed your client's point of view, if you had access to any data that you wanted, what might that be able to tell you about what happened in the past? what's happening in the present, and indeed what might happen in the future. So just think about that in terms of your client's business. What data would you really like to access to be able to help you to solve the client's problem?